Let's start.
All right, Lawrence, podcast. Let's make podcasts funny. What?
I don't know if it's really funny.
It's never
Ha
funny.
ha ha! Joke podcast.
More
Where's
every
school though?
He's on the way. He's just going to the bathroom.
He's just going to the bathroom.
He's not really a part of our team.
Not yet.
Oh.
Got a couple of days.
Whoa, that's harsh talk.
Nope.
Real talk with
I
Lawrence
just shared
Sontag.
him on the Q&A doc.
Come on,
Not
kids.
part of it. Hit it, Lawrence.
Let's wrap. Welcome to the Inside Gaming Podcast for
Lawrence, you can start anytime.
October 16th,
We just started.
2014.
Oh boy.
Adam.
He's already tired.
Yeah,
Adam.
wow.
Hi. What's up? What's going on?
What's the worst haircut you've ever had?
One time I went to a barbershop in the Los Angeles area, and I said, just take a little off top, just like this thing that I got going on. Even haircut. It's fine. The guy went, cool. And then he just shaved me on both sides, and I think he somehow made the hair in the middle. I did that.
So you looked real cool.
To give you a mohawk?
Basically gave me like the dumbest looking mohawk ever, and I went home and shaved my own head.
In his defense, you didn't tell him not to do that.
That's true. That's a good point.
So,
I wish you would stop standing up for these people, James.
He might be a masterful barber.
Yeah.
you mean barbers? Stop
Yeah.
standing up for him.
Those jerks.
Always defending those guys. and
Episode
girls.
29 of the Inside Gaming Podcast is brought to you by NatureBox.
Yes, it is.
Are you hungry, listener?
Yes.
I am.
I am.
What would satisfy your hunger right now?
Nature box.
A gross bag of potato chips,
No.
an unhealthy bag of candy,
No.
Incorrect.
or an all-natural bag of strawberry swizzle swaz?
There you
Ooh,
go.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
The good stuff.
Well, don't forget that part of the good thing about Nature Box is that it isn't a compromise between sweets and healthy stuff.
Supposed to be healthy
Everything all in
It's
one
something
at the
that
same
actually
time.
tastes good.
Do we have any? Speaking
No, we
It's-
ate it all.
Ah, your teeth.
It's
Sorry.
like paying for a haircut and getting the one you asked for.
Exactly.
Someday we'll know what that feels like.
One day.
So yeah, NatureBox, just in case you haven't listened to our podcast before, is a monthly subscription service, and they send you all manner of natural foods. No artificial sweeteners, no oils, whatever the bad oil is, none of that. Hydrogenated,
Whatever.
Bad oil.
monohydrogenated,
He's done his research.
polyhydrogenated.
Partially
no hydrogen,
hydrogenated.
really. Just no hydrogen at all.
Yep.
We're done with that.
Uh-huh.
At any rate, we have a special offer. You can go to naturebox.com/inside and get a free sampler featuring 5 of their most popular snacks. I'm not sure what they are, or if the strawberry swizzle swaz is in there, but
It might be.
possible.
It might be.
Could be.
If they're not in there, please request them.
Yes. So to start your free trial, go to naturebox.com/inside. That's naturebox.com/inside. Get your free snacks. Sign up if you like. Nothing's better than having food waiting for you when you come home.
I like
can attest
the.
to that.
Except for a woman.
I like the goji berry group lovers.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Those are good.
I like the pineapple, the dried pineapples.
You have to say something funny.
Good joke. No,
can't
that
just-
Yeah, no,
Just
it's
I actually
nothing made up.
Spools.
Make one up.
Spools.
Pippy Pappy
I
pineapple
like
pips.
the raw pineapple undried.
What
Speaking
about the
of
Hubble
pineapple
Bubbles? Do you like the
rings,
Hubble Bubbles?
let's talk about sex.
Oh.
Oh,
Baby.
perfect segue.
Ba 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 ba. You're welcome.
Asshole.
At
Go
any
on.
rate, Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta is a very comely woman.
Okay.
What's the name of her sidekick? Can't remember. The white-haired one.
Cheshire.
No, that's the dude.
Oh,
Hold on a minute.
Dante.
Dante, yeah.
Nope, not Dante at all.
white hair dude.
Yeah.
The other witch, the Moon Witch.
Oh,
Wait, no.
right. Steve Martin.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Leslie Nielsen.
Wait, no, the
Leslie
Sun
Nielsen.
Witch. Bayonetta's the Moon Witch. Hence the song "Fly Me to the Moon" that played through the entire game.
Yeah, of course, because of the song.
Bad guy from Die Hard.
That Tim.
Oh, Jeremy Irons.
Hans Gruber.
Oh,
Samuel L. Jackson.
he was the good guy.
Morgan
James
Freeman.
Rayner.
What are we talking
Jeremy
about?
Renner.
We're talking about Bayonetta 2.
Where
Go
the hell's
ahead.
the other? Whatever,
You're
fuck it.
getting
worry about it.
you're getting
Doesn't matter.
into the minutia.
Getting sidetracked, Lawrence.
Get
I
to
was
the
just trying to
actual
remember
story.
Point you're trying to
My
make?
memory's bad.
Get to the point where people
And
got
that's
mad.
the end of the Inside Gaming
At any rate,
Podcast.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
So, gaming is littered with a bunch of very sexual female characters.
No.
Yeah, I know. I know it's a shock. It's terribly shocking. Typically what happens is, and fighting games are particularly egregious about this, but they will take a woman, give her giant tits, giant ass, and then make her wear as little clothes as possible, and then have her prance for the delight of the viewer, which, in grand trope fashion, is always a white heterosexual man.
Of course. Well, to be fair, these were created by men who have never seen a woman before.
True.
They've only been
That's it.
described to them.
Overstatement.
Sorry,
At any
continue.
rate, Bayonetta is kind of different because her sexual appeal is not quite as stereotypical. like most women will give, they're always drawn with bedroom eyes, lips slightly parted, yearning expression, wearing very small amount of clothes. It's all very direct and it works. But Bayonetta, she doesn't have giant tits. She has crazy Amazon legs.
She's got a great ass.
Yeah,
Great
she's got
ass.
a good butt.
Great ass!
She's got the spandex and the high heel.
No, it's made out of hair.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not
Her
actual
outfit
spandex.
is hair.
So,
And
she's, so she's naked?
She's technically naked.
Technically naked the
So
whole time.
most of the time
she's
she's
not a bad
fully
thing.
clothed, but in combat, her clothes do disintegrate because she uses it for her attacks.
Naturally.
But one thing that I find interesting is when you're playing the game, when you do a giant attack that consumes your suit, the camera typically zooms out. So there are camera shots that zoom in on her, but that's typically when she's clothed. So it strikes this weird balance between being very sexually provocative, but not in the most stereotypical way. At any rate, some people react negatively to this. When the first Bayonetta came out, it wasn't quite the hot button topic it is now, but I remember the discussion being like, okay, well, this character is obviously very sexual, but kind of in a different way. And even among women, there was an interesting discussion about, is this the right kind of female sexuality or the wrong kind? And by wrong, air quotes around that, wrong being...
Well, actually, I mean, just getting to that right there, there should be no right or
Is there
wrong.
right or wrong?
I mean,
Okay, so-
I mean, just to get into it, for a white male living in his studio New York apartment to write words and go, women shouldn't be like this is already you're already.
Talking about someone specifically?
No, not at all. I'm just saying that.
Yep.
Yes,
New
I'm
York
talking about
studio
James.
apartment.
Yep.
I'm just saying for anybody to come out and say this is how women should be portrayed in the games, especially coming from some dude, that you're already barking down the wrong tree. So like that is just you have no argument there. You have no right to say anything. You should just shut up and go about your business. Anyway,
True.
Right.
You have a right to say something, but you don't have a right to be listened to.
of course, but you also have the right to be ridiculed
Yeah,
by
yeah.
people who have half a brain who say, "Dude, what
You're
the
not
hell?
a woman."
What is your
Well-
problem?" Yeah.
Well, you know
Please.
what? Let's talk about this from a purely male perspective then.
Okay.
Dude.
They're having fun over there.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Um,
I'll miss you.
So, speaking as a guy who likes looking at women on occasion, I like. It's nice to see a lady
Is that
in a
my
video
James
game.
again?
He means all of them.
But I typically like women that are actually characters. Like fighting game women never do anything for me. Like it's always kind of dumb. Like personally, I don't even like looking at like dead or alive chicks because there's nothing to them.
You don't
What?
like looking at it?
Not
That's
really,
a
no.
lie.
Nothing
Like-
at all?
Every
I'm-
time I turn around.
I'm a Saoirse Aaron fan. I'm one of those guys.
I'm actually kind of usually concerned about what kind of back pain some of the characters from Soul Calibur might have.
In 10 years,
Yeah.
they'll be horribly crippled.
No,
but
fine.
now,
Yeah.
Fine. I'll say that I like looking at Dead or Alive because
Sure.
they're women and they're attracted to me, and I'm attracted to women.
well,
They're not.
they're
That's
attractive.
totally valid.
They're not real.
I'm aware that they're not real.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're picking off. What is to say what is real and isn't real? No, but they're building off the things that do attract men, which are the aspects of a woman that
Yes.
that
That men
indicate
love.
sexual,
Yes, right.
what have you.
Instinctually.
Yeah, and I mean, and on the subject of Dead or Alive, we're talking about a guy who is in many sexual harassment lawsuits, and so you just imagine him being in a meeting and just sitting there quietly, and they present the character sheet, and he goes, "Bigger,"
Yeah.
and they're like, "What do you mean?" And he just says, "Bigger." So they're like, "I don't know what the fuck he wants bigger," so just keep going. And he probably never said anything other than bigger.
Turns out it's the only word he can say.
Yeah, exactly. And what he was trying to say was like more blood, but they couldn't understand him. So
But
there's that.
To pose this question to you guys, have you guys? Wow, it's so weird. I'm trying to think of how to say this and not sound like an ultimate douche. Are you guys satisfied from a very purely instinctual, shitty, like I want to stare at beautiful women level of the kinds of women you see in games?
No.
But
Am I satisfied? Absolutely not.
What would you like to see?
An actual human woman naked in front of me, desiring me. That's it.
And desiring you.
Yes.
this
That's the idea.
this whole thing goes back to one of the things I love about gaming, and this is actually where the big debate comes from, is a lot of people have different tastes. So some people have the taste of seeing women naked makes me uncomfortable. And like, okay, that's
Who
your
has that
taste.
taste? I want to beat them up.
There's other guys like for me personally, women who are very confident is an attractive thing to me. Women who are assertive and I'm not saying powerful as in like they're big, strong women, like Amazonian, like
like
roided
that
out
too.
women. Bruce loves that.
I like that too.
But like a woman who's like strong in her convictions. But at the same time, there's
want
like there's some women like Skyrim who we're just total assholes. And I'm just like, I'm not attracted to you. You're just kind of a dick. And that to me is actually kind of accomplishes more in the world of gaming, where it's just like you take the gender roles out of it and they just become characters. I actually prefer that to me. I don't think you need to be sexually attracted to everything that moves in the world. That shouldn't be a priority.
Well, more than anything, I feel like part of the discussion doesn't appear to be about whether or not it's in tune with the game, because Bayonetta is a game constructed out. The whole game is built around the image of this woman, right? And how she acts and how she fights. And I haven't played all of Bayonetta 1, but I mean, she's a bullet witch, right? Like, she does crazy witch stuff and everything. But my point is, like Lauren said, she's basically a dominatrix. Her moveset resembles a lot of the stuff you would see in a sexually empowered dominatrix type character.
There's a move where she steps on someone with a giant stiletto heel made out of hair.
It isn't necessarily like Dead or Alive, where it's a fighting game, and for no reason this blonde-haired woman dresses like a skimpy cowgirl.
Right, yeah.
Like, does she work on a ranch? Well, no.
Yeah.
She just dresses like a skimpy cowgirl.
She's from America.
What makes me feel more uncomfortable, and this is kind of not
Tina.
directly related, but what makes me feel more uncomfortable is situations where we have like David Cage games where he finds an actual actress and then he models a scene and he feels inclined to put a shower scene in there starring Ellen Page, and then he has people model the naked body of Ellen Page. Then it's like, even though he knows that the camera won't be focusing on it, it's like almost like he wants that.
Well, he
creeps me
wanted
out.
it for
That's
himself.
the thing. It creeps me out to think like it should have just been, all right, well, we panned out and it just reveals a mannequin's doll body because we knew we weren't going to show her nipples.
But no, they modeled nipples
But they
and all
put
this stuff.
they put nipples in there and stuff. Like, to me, that's very weird. Whereas Bayonetta is very upfront. It's like, this is what Bayonetta is. This is what the whole game is going to be about. Everything's going to tap into this vibe. And I, other than the fact that it's a sexually empowered woman, don't see much of a difference between Bayonetta and Devil May Cry.
One of the things I like about Bayonetta, and I think it was Aisha Tyler that was talking about this back when like Assassin's Creed was happening, and they were like, like, why aren't there more women in Assassin's Creed? Aisha Tyler was like, why can't we just make exciting female characters? Like, why do they have to be, why do we have to focus on their TNA? Why can't we just say, like, that's why I like Bayonetta, because she's a crazy character who does super crazy shit, and yes, she happens to have boobs and an ass. Like, I mean, like, who cares if she does or doesn't at that point? It's like, same with Lara Croft, like, in the most recent Tomb Raider, she's an attractive woman, but she's not overtly attractive. She's also a badass.
Well, I think what that stems from is the fact that it's like she does moves where like her clothes come off and she's kind of naked, but it's not like
that's part of her personality.
No,
right?
exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, then you have to go back to the thing of like, do we put everyone in a burqa? Like, I mean, you come into this world naked and you leave it naked. So if you're upset with nudity, I guess that's just kind of a culture thing. But like, we both James and I went to Paris recently. We went to like a few museums. Tits everywhere.
Well, yeah.
Like it's
like women walking around naked. In
They're just hanging out.
Love
It's
that.
awesome.
But it's one of those things where it's just like the more you see it, the more you're kind of desensitized to it. It's like pornography or whatever. The more you watch it, you're just kind of like, well, for some things, so you get burned out on stuff.
No.
You're talking about it, and I'm getting hard.
I was saying like with the Bayonetta, when I first played, I was like, whoa, this is a little. And then after a while, I'm like, this is just a fun game, cool.
Yeah.
And you just like you get over it because you're like, just grow up, like just you're an adult. This is an adult game. If you can't handle this, go back and play with your toys. Like go play with your fire truck.
Because another thing, they're rated M. Is Bayonetta rated M? Is it mature, Lawrence?
Lawrence is looking it up. He's looking it up right now.
I could see the argument of like women making the argument that like young kids are formulating their opinion on what women should look like and that kind of stuff, and then they see this kind of thing and they get their mind all warped and
Both games
gonna
are rated
mess
M,
what they're expecting out of women. Whereas if it's a mature rated game, it's like that argument kind of disappears too because they're already adults by that point.
Oh,
Well,
that's a good
this
point.
is remember this is all kind of stemming from an adult who had a problem with a naked woman, which is that's like that's your own personal problem. But it's just kind of funny that it factored into the person's review of a game. Like, how did this affect the gameplay again? I'm sorry.
Well, again, it's opinion, and if somebody feels that aspect of the game is superfluous and that it actually detracts from the experience, they're well within their rights to say that.
I'm just curious, like, what did he think about God of War?
Too sexy.
Did he think God of War was a 6 out of 10 game because there's a sex scene in it?
Yeah.
I was gonna say Kratos' thighs
that
are like
is
those are great.
Infinitely more gratuitous and out of place within the game and the game universe than Bayonetta being that character and embodying that character for the entire length of the game.
Well, it's the same with like God of War or Geralt. Like those sorts of guys are just constantly banging chicks. That is their character. Like it's one of those things where if that's their character and if it's not out of tone for the game, you can't fault the game designer for that. If that's what the character is, that's what the character is.
Yeah.
It's like 50 Shades of Grey. Like a lot of crazy shit happens in those books, but we're not going to review the book poorly because there's anal beads in it. Like there just happens to be part of the story.
Yeah.
It just happens to be part of the story.
Well, that's what I mean. But if it was like,
Plot-oriented,
that's what I'm saying. If it was like,
Yeah.
I mean, the consensus is 50 Shades of Grey is just straight up like pornography for housewives.
Yeah.
Which is fine if that's its intention and it satisfies that audience. Good for them. They did it. They did good. If it's a book you're not really into, then maybe the anal beads probably don't enhance the story.
Ooh, that enhances a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, there's at no point that Bayonetta is like she never shies away from what she is, right? Like the game embraces what this character is. There's nothing really out of place. So I think if you're not in within the first 10 minutes, it's probably not a game for you. Just my thought.
Yeah. Yes. And speaking about embracing, I feel like Bayonetta is a good example of purposely taking things too far and making that statement repeatedly.
Right.
Like it's a game about absurdity on everything. So it's absurdly sexual, but it's also absurd because you're fighting on the back of a dragon flying through space shooting lasers out of its mouth.
Right. It's self-aware.
Yeah, and that even extends to like what I've heard the most criticism about is the camera, the male gaze issue. That the movement of the camera is designed in such a way that there's a white man controlling it, or just a heterosexual man at all. So like, of course, it like zooms in and looks at Bayonetta's body, but the camera also like gets a little too close sometimes. Like there are times when Bayonetta will be on the ground and her feet are up like she's giving birth, and the camera will zoom in on that, and you're like, ah. And it's just one of those moments where it's like, okay, that's sexual, I guess, for like a dude with a handlebar mustache and like a mustache rides 5 cents shirt. He's like, yeah, get in there.
Spool's excited.
But like, it
I need a mustache.
definitely steps over that line of like, here's a beautiful, impossible Greek goddess that you are beholding, right into like
But-
this is just pure sex.
But is it possible that that's the intention?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Because like, I mean, I don't remember when Lollipop Chainsaw
Yeah,
came out. They
exactly.
were like, the game's fun, but why is she dressed like a cheerleader?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, to me, it's kind of a moot point if that's the game. If that's the game, and the game is true to that whole outrageous vibe of things, then what is it supposed to? What is it supposed to do?
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't the first Bayonetta begin with her dressed like a nun?
Yes.
And then she explodes out of the clothing. Like that is
That's absurdity.
the developer
Yeah, it's absurd.
telling you what you're getting into,
Yeah.
and that this is this kind of game, and she is this kind of person,
Right.
and that's the universe that we're building here. Like,
I think it comes down to like I never want to be that guy who sits in a room and goes, no, women should be portrayed like this, because that's not up to me. I'm not an artist trying to tell a story or trying to do something where I'm portraying a type of person in a certain way. And so I don't think any one of us are entitled to any sort of opinion. Like everyone can have an opinion. That's fine. But you should really have no authority on like, this is how women should look. Don't make them sexual. Because like, if a woman wants to have her power shown through sex or a sexual way, that's who she is. Fine. If a man wants to do that, fine.
No,
if they have
not allowed for men.
the argument
Cover
like
up your dick.
well, like what James was saying, like Dante, like that he's a character, especially the newer one, who's just like oozing with like skinny, hard body male, or like freaking
he's naked for the first 10 minutes of that game.
Yeah, and it's like I don't remember any guys having problems with that, or women being like, I can't believe they're doing that. Well, I just don't remember anyone being outraged and being like, I'm knocking the score because you almost saw his dick. I was
Yeah.
No one ever said that. Like, where's the problem there? And like, even the Assassin's Creed characters, I feel like, are very much just like these almost overly sexualized men, like romantics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, how come
That-
no one-
Well, Ezio, yeah.
They're almost
Altair
like
was
they're
kind
like
of an
they're like the
asshole.
modern day Fabio, almost of like these are created
Connor
for
was
like
kind of nobody.
Just from personal experience, I know women who just like love these characters because like, oh my god, this is my perfect man. It's like, holy shit. I'm not saying that they are.
like, romance novels.
Yeah.
So-
Either way, I'm just saying it cuts both ways.
For me, what bugs me most is hypocrisy. Where you see something, it presents itself one way, but it actually, once you pull back the layers, you see that it's something else entirely, or there is no conviction there. I don't see that in this case. I feel like the writer feels that there is hypocrisy, and that's what bothers him. That the game should have been something else or wasn't clearly presented to him in a certain way, but I don't see it at all with Bayonetta.
No. It's also it's this sort of thing of making something out of nothing. It's sort of like what's the thing you always say, Lawrence? Like people are just looking for an excuse to get mad. Like they want to be upset, and it's strange that they look at games to that now, where it's like
it's really weird.
It is this optional form of media that like you have so many choices. Where it's like you don't have to play Bayonetta. No one's shoving it down your throat.
Oh.
Like,
You can tell by the box art what you're getting into.
That's true. Well,
Like, you literally look at the box art and you're like, oh, well, this game's gonna be about a woman.
So,
just quit judging books by their covers.
To close in the most inclusive way possible, I think this all purely stems from an issue of passion, and I don't think you could fault anyone for that. I think the people that are mad about this sort of thing would like to see inclusion in gaming, would like to see more diversity in gaming, and that's why they're saying we don't need more of this. But I think it all comes from a good intention.
Well, that's on the flip side. We're kind of embracing Bayonetta for being different. I guess we see it in a different kind of way.
Yeah, maybe.
We're like, oh look, a strong female protagonist. Cool, that's awesome. But then at the end of the day, we're very simple folk, and we go, game looks fun.
Yeah.
We
Fun
chop
game.
people's heads off.
Exactly.
You know what else is fun? Getting snacks mailed to your door.
He's right.
Yeah.
Lawrence, segue, master of segues.
Master of Sig.
I just reappropriate the last half of the last sentence that was said, and then say the next sentence.
No, you're not supposed to explain it. You're supposed to just keep going.
Nature
Once
Box
you segue, just keep going.
Is a service that will mail you delicious, tasty, and healthy treats every month. Let's see here. I got the cashew power clusters this month too.
Is that a real thing? Or
That
Yeah,
is
that's actually a real
absolutely
thing.
a real
I can
thing.
never tell.
They're really good, by the way. So if you usually snack on chips, don't do that because they're empty calories. Delicious, empty calories.
He's right.
Now
They are empty.
the snacks you get from Nature Box typically are actual food, so they have actual nutrients in them. Things like fiber and protein, things your body needs to keep running. And if you're having a long gaming session, and let's face it, you're gonna eat lazy. Nobody wants to get up and cook.
Absolutely
Grab a
not.
Mountain Dew.
No,
No. Feed bag.
Oh, yeah, Nature Box feed bag.
Oh, when are they doing that?
Nature bag.
Strap it around.
Yeah.
It's
Never
something
get
that's
up.
bothered me for a while, just like gamer culture and the way it celebrates sloth. It's kind of treated as a badge of honor if you play games for 24 hours straight and do so eating pizza and drinking Mountain Dew.
is?
Like,
Hey, I ate pizza
And-
this weekend.
Kind of a badge of honor, I guess.
In some, I've seen a few like kind of 4chan threads where they're like, they kind of jokingly be like, man, I went through a whole pizza and a whole 6-pack of horrible soda, and it's like, at one point when you were a kid, that was okay. But as you become an adult, people realize quickly your metabolism slows down,
Yeah.
especially when you're sitting down all day, and you get fat fast. Like I know that especially from experience. Like eating that sort of crap is bad for you, and then not sleeping, shit like that, like staying up all night. Like there are things that go along with gamer culture that are actually very negative, that are almost celebrated almost too positively.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of like people kind of in the industry.
Who's trying to get a point in?
Sorry, this is a whole different podcast discussion. I'd love to get into
Well, I think
another day.
we're in the middle of an ad too.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Ghost School.
I was gonna say, what if you have a standing desk and you eat crappy? Do they balance each
No.
other?
No, absolutely.
not.
You're standing.
Absolutely
Go,
not.
sorry, Lawrence, finish.
Yeah.
At any rate, so yeah, one of the easiest steps you can take is by altering your diet, replacing bad food with good food. And I promise, good food tastes good. You just have to kind of get in the habit of eating it. And one of the first ways you can do that is by Nature Box. So we encourage you to go to naturebox.com/inside and get their free sampler. Try it out.
Do you think they'll have a Choco Almond Houdini in there?
Yes.
Ooh, I like that
Is
one.
that real, or are you making up more things?
What
I
do
like
you
the-
think? What do you think?
I don't know.
Find
It
out
sounds-
by
this
going
is-
to naturebox.com.
Can we get a trivia segment sponsored by NatureBox
Marshmallow.
where we
Marmalade Mussolini's.
we have ones that are made up and we have ones that are real, and we see if Spool can figure out which one is
That's
which.
Have
a
you ever
really
Spool?
great idea.
I only know what they look like. I don't know what they
Cool. Have you ever had the hobjobbles?
Ooh,
No,
those are
Ooh,
good.
Really good.
The baby
At any
bottom
rate,
dollars.
What's
Big
in
a bottom
hob-
dollar.
That address once again is naturebox.com/inside. Naturebox.com/INSIDE.
What's in a hobjobble?
The hobjobble? There's blueberry.
What a question.
There's peanuts.
Anyway, on to our next topic.
And some hobs.
Adam got the chance to play Far Cry 4.
Heyo.
Ooh.
Yes,
Adam,
I
what do you
did. Yeah, last week you guys may have noticed I was out during the QA. That's because right after the daily, I hopped on a plane with San Francisco, played Far Cry 4 all
I thought you
day.
fought Bruce and you got time
You
out.
punched me in the
for-
face.
That was a different day.
Some guy in the subreddit noticed. And he called us all assholes.
I know. I was like, where's Adam?
Oh God, I'm sorry. I sometimes have to go do things.
All of us.
How dare you?
Well, I mean, you may have noticed during this entire podcast, we have been showing Far Cry 4 gameplay. That's because I capped a
didn't notice
shitload of it.
I thought it was Far Cry 3.
You son of a bitch.
How
Burn!
How dare you?
Burn!
You guys may a little backstory. You may know me as the Skyrim with guns guy.
Nope, never heard of it.
Okay, good.
I actually don't think people know that. You should tell them that story just really quick.
Yeah. So
I'm serious.
no, it's fine. It's fine. So years ago, like I really enjoyed Far Cry 1. I thought it was a unique game. It was on PC when I played it. I didn't really like the console versions. And then I enjoyed Far Cry 2 when that came out. It was very different. I thought it had a lot of problems, but I liked the realistic survival nature of it. And so I was really looking forward to Far Cry 3 when it came out, but I think at this point, no one cared. No one really cared about Far Cry. They were like, Far Cry 2 wasn't good enough. I don't really even remember the first one, so no one gave a shit. And I had played through like a gameplay session in Germany, and I was blown away. I was like, oh my god, there's so many like random events. It was like this. It was the exact game I've always wanted, like this open world island survival sort of thing. And I was just like, I was so into it. I was so blown away. And this was the year Skyrim had come out, so I was just like, oh my god, like the sort of like random encounters just happening, like some dude just like walking a hostage over here and then like unlocking this tower and then doing this mission. I was like Skyrim, but like you have guns in it. And the guy was like, can I quote you on that? I'm like, yeah, fuck it, who cares? I was like, whatever helps sell this game, man. Like whatever you can get your message out, like people need to play this. It's fucking awesome. And he's like, cool. And then god damn it showed up on like billboards and stuff, and I was like, and then like there was one like, you know, snarky guy in Reddit was like, please, isn't that just Fallout? I'm like, well, sure, but then again, like if you think Fallout's really a first-person shooter, you're kind of a dumbass. But hey, whatever. I didn't want to get into it, and it's actually really funny because everyone kind of attributes the quote to IGN still,
Oh yeah, you're right.
which makes no sense.
There's
No,
more
it's
there.
it's quoted as machinima, which is funny.
This is what people do. They
Yeah.
reappropriate reality to match their preconceived notions. Am I right, James?
Yes, according to my lecture series.
Anyway, it was a lesson learned in the world of editorial and PR friendships that maybe don't let people use quotes from you.
Why is that hang glider doing 360?
I don't know.
Oh, the dude crashed into
Hang
a
gliders
tree.
don't do that.
It was great.
Tree physics.
So anyway, I learned a valuable lesson that like maybe you shouldn't say stupid things. But the funny part was I had learned that stores around the world were actually using that quote. Guys who worked at GameStops were telling me, like, yeah, our manager told us to say this to customers.
What?
And it's selling like crazy.
That's awesome.
They're like, it was the easiest thing they could say. They're like, yeah, it's like Skyrim with guns. They're like, I'll take 2. And I was like, fuck, I really helped them sell that game.
Yes, you did.
Good for me. But all it cost me was my
Integrity.
integrity.
Yeah,
All
right.
gone.
Yeah, right. You can't sell what you don't have.
Yeah, so I did. True. So I did make a response video saying like, yeah, so I am the jackass who said that. There are badgers in the game, yes.
I love badgers.
Ah!
And then it immediately attacks you.
So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I was just excited to play the
coming.
game.
Fill it with bullets.
I don't think we ever reviewed Far Cry, or at least like we didn't. Yeah, Badger's a fucking asshole.
The game. Is it gonna kill
It's
you?
gonna kill you.
I did play on PS4, so if at any point in the gameplay you're like, Adam really sucks, it did take me a little while to get used to it, and the frame rate was a little choppy. It's an early build, so it wasn't exactly stable. I had played the game originally on PC, mouse and keyboard. That's kind of what I was used to. Anyway, so
Best version.
It is the best version.
Talk about the
Most
game.
correct.
So yes. So anyway, real quick, I enjoyed Far Cry 3 when I played it all the way through. I thought the story was lacking in a little bit of areas. I thought Voss was kind of a red herring. He wasn't really in the game as much as they kind of promoted he would be, which made sense. And I think the game did well enough that they made a sequel. So I was excited. Cool. So I played the game for a day, and real quick off the bat, like I said this in the daily earlier, if you liked Far Cry 3, you will like Far Cry 4. That's the simplest explanation I can give you.
We've done it.
Okay. If you weren't into it, there's not a lot here. Like they treat it a lot kind of like an expansion pack. It's like a spiritual sequel. It's set in the Himalayas. They added a few different things, but it's really like the sound effects, the art. Like it feels like Far Cry 3.
As I say, graphics-wise, does it look a lot better? Or?
It didn't do anything to blow me away.
Yeah.
There are moments later where you get into this little gyro helicopter thing that's really freaking weird, and the world is huge. Like you just get into a canyon, you're like, holy shit, this place is big. So there is no, you will not run out of things to do, which is good. There's a lot of exploring to do. Everything is trying to kill you. There's like a rhino that smashed my face in at one point, and then like immediately there was a bunch of dogs attacking me, and then a snake hit me. Like
All these animals.
Yeah, and then there's like one part where an
There's
eagle.
no actual human in it.
The eagles will not leave you alone, and they're impossible to shoot. Yeah, there's
It sounds really fun.
it's sort of the thing
There's a
where
lot of
like
stuff to do, but
This
it's
is
all
what
really
you find
annoying.
out. But how is the co-op?
The moment your heel hits the ground, animals just swarm on you.
This is when we find out
the
that
co-op-
Adam actually went to a big buck 2015.
Cabela's afterwards.
Because the co-op's all new, right?
yeah. So that was actually the strangest thing was I showed up to the event and the first thing they did was make us do co-op, and I was playing with a guy who I don't think really understood how video games work. He was a bit of an older gentleman, and he would just like run off and do his own thing. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, buddy. And we weren't really communicating even though we're sitting next to each other. So that was kind of strange that we'd start off
He
with a
didn't
co-op.
speak English.
He may have. I don't know. I think at one point he like just got up and went and get a plate of food. Yeah, but
I like to imagine a big game hunter flying around in a gyrocopter with a pistol.
Bang, bang, bang.
the co-op is basically it's just the single player, and then like your friend just pops in and you just play the single player together, which I'm fine with. I like that kind of co-op.
So the guy that drops in is always Herc.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you like meet him partway through the single player.
Did it scale up your enemies when you did that? Like, for example, when he drops in, does it add more enemies, make them harder? Or?
I actually don't know
Twice as
because
many eagles.
Damn it!
Like I said, I mean, it's one of those things where they didn't really give you any floaties. They just pushed you in the pool and said swim.
Yeah.
And I hadn't played Far Cry in a long time, so I'm like, I don't remember what the fuck I'm doing. So like, it took me a little while to figure out what my sensitivity was, and like once I got into the single player stuff and I had some time to just kind of explore and do my own thing, the game started making more sense to me.
I like a UI though. That's nice.
The UI,
Yeah, the typography on the screen there.
sure. I mean,
Titling?
it's the same. It's like it's
like
the same as
letters,
Far Cry
though.
3. Yeah.
What font is that?
But I mean,
fancy
overall,
font
like,
you got there.
I mean, the most positive thing I can say about it is fun if you found Far Cry 3 to be fun. They're not that you can go find an elephant and go ride on it and go stampede some people.
Would you like say it's like Far Cry 3 with animals?
Nice.
Far Cry 3 had animals.
I don't get the reference.
Oh, okay.
Snakes.
He's referencing.
All right. Well,
There was actually one really cool thing about it. So in the very beginning, you're given a choice. Like there's I think it's a brother and sister. I couldn't really tell. They don't give you too much of the story right away. They just kind of dropped you in. So I didn't.
Kiss?
Do you have sex with anybody? Did you have sex?
I
with
hope.
anybody?
Actually, I mean, you had sex in the third one.
yeah. Woo.
Speaking of strong women, I mean, she murders you.
Oh yeah, that's
Whoa.
right.
Spoiler. Sorry. Whatever.
Not
Yeah.
if you don't.
You've only had.
that.
I know exactly. Well, so they do have the choice system. That's the sort of thing that's back. That was the most interesting part. And so they right away they give you the choice. They say the girl wants you to
Kiss
go
your
get.
brother or your sister?
God damn it!
Both.
The girl says.
Get in here.
The girl says, "I want you to go get some intel," and this guy says, "I want you to go rescue these hostages." Whatever you choose to do will impact the next mission. So it is.
says.
That's kind of like Far Cry 2.
Every time, do what she says.
Well, I actually did go with the woman because I thought it was kind of cool to go get the intel. But because I got the intel,
Always listen
the
to the
hostages were killed, and then the brother was mad at me.
Okay.
And so there does seem to be a branching narrative, which I'm into.
Here's probably how it will go. At any point, you can do missions for one or the other, and if you pick missions for one, the other one will give you his negative VO line instead of his positive VO line. But at any point, up until the last mission, you can switch over to the other one and be totally
I think
fine.
it locks you out of missions, though.
Is that confirmed, Lawrence?
But
or is
wasn't-
that-
I'm making that up.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just my
The
theory.
thing what they told me, because it says right away in the text says, pick who you want to work with. This will affect the next mission. And you go, okay. So I'm really hoping for an interesting branching path, which is what I didn't. The
That's
third
a lot like
game.
Far Cry 2.
What's
Because
that?
it had all the fixers you could work for.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, all the arms runners, and then at the end, like that was the big culmination.
Right, and you fight.
Supposedly banking on the fact that you cared about these.
Except you had malaria the whole time, and it wasn't very interesting. But
I like that.
it got annoying.
But it did get annoying. But there were times where I was like in a firefight, and then my dude would be like, "Brrr," and then to like shoot pills while there were like bullets. And I was like,
There were parts like I like that, and then your gun would explode because it got wet once, and you're just like, God damn it, everything's trying to kill me. And an alligator would just like fly out of the sky and bite your face. Like,
Far Cry's cool.
I'm into it. I like Far Cry. I like it.
And you have to go kill 18 boar so you can carry 12 more bullets.
That's back. I mean, the whole crafting
Yeah.
system's there. They did simplify it a bit where, like, if you just get 2 plants or whatever, 2 green plants, it will just auto craft a syringe. So you don't actually have to craft all the syringes.
2 plants equal 1
That
syringe.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
2 green
Sounds
equals
legit.
syringe. You can breathe underwater longer. You could aim
Wait,
focus.
Of
what were you saying, like,
herbology.
there's tampons or something now?
There's plenty of tampons in the game, yes.
That's not a joke. Not a joke.
It's the same thing. There's like kind of a loot system. Like you find random things. One of the things is a maxi pad,
Oh.
and you sell it for like 1,500 kroners or
Maxi
whatever.
Pad used
Can
in
you,
parentheses.
can you start your own MaxiPad corporation and sell them?
It's not that
Distributor.
deep of a game.
A distributor, yeah.
I mean, like when you
How much does the main character look like Joel?
a lot.
Oh, good timing. Joel
Look,
just walked
yeah, it
in.
looks identical to Joel. He does kind of sound like typical white man. You didn't get to really hear a lot of his.
nice shot,
Kind of.
Oh, that guy.
Good killing.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Run away.
nice.
He's all cool.
Look at that lighting. That's cool.
He's like, help me!
It's like their swamp thing.
Once again, I mean, the most fun about the game is just kind of the random element. I love when just like
Yeah.
random shit just happens and you didn't expect that to happen. That's
Yeah,
what
that's kind
like.
of Far Cry's banner feature is you use your binoculars, you scope it out, you get your plan,
Yeah.
and then you like take one step and then a rhino just runs in.
Yeah.
Lawrence and I
Fuck
were
it, I'll
kinda-
wing it.
Lawrence and I were kind of talking about this earlier today, how part of us being older and having less free time means we love video games where you can just pick it up, play it kind of casually,
For, yeah,
not sweat
an
it.
hour or something.
There's a narrative, but even if you don't necessarily accomplish anything in the narrative, you feel like you're getting something done. This is kind of the more recent Assassin's Creed games, which I do
Ugh.
enjoy, but they bombard you with so much secondary mission collection stuff that doesn't actually have any sort of bearing on the game other than the percentage.
And it's all just
number.
stuff. Like
It's all
Assassin's
stuff.
Creed. It's
Which
go to this
sucks-
island, kill this one
Which
NPC
sucks
just
because
standing there.
Assassin's Creed 2 actually did have a lot of like, okay, well, if you want to go out and gather all that bullshit, fine, but if you do it all, we'll give you new armor.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like this. Whereas the more modern ones are like, nah, grab the spinning crystals because there's a million of them.
I need a new shanty, damn it.
Yeah.
So you play the game for an hour, and then at the end of an hour, you didn't actually accomplish anything other than a few ticks. But is this more of the kind of game where you're not so overwhelmed by things, or if you are overwhelmed by things, accomplishing what appears to be side missions does add to feeling accomplished?
I think I know what question you're asking.
I mean, is
Add
it more?
lots of
Is
sides.
is there more to this game and the free roaming aspect of it than just getting 100%?
I think James is looking
Right.
for progression. Like,
Yeah,
the story.
I
Meaningful progression.
I kind of
Yeah.
felt like Far Cry 3 to me was like Assassin's Creed 2, which was one of my favorite.
Oh,
Yeah. It was an early build.
look how cool you're murdering this guy.
Well, that's what I'm curious about.
Liberate out.
So I would compare Far Cry 3 to Assassin's Creed 2 in the sense that like Assassin's Creed 1 really bothered me because it felt like nothing but side missions. Whereas Assassin's Creed 2, I felt like it had a really nice focus on narrative,
Yeah.
and it moved perfectly, and I never felt like I was being pushed into the narrative. Far Cry is kind of like that. Like you'll go to point A to point B, and in between those, you'll find some really interesting things to do, but you will eventually get to point B. And like you'll like, oh, find a tower, and I'll unlock the tower, and it can get repetitive. But if you're okay with that, like at one point, you know how you unlock the towers? You have to like climb the tower and then go up and unlock the thing. I just flew a helicopter on top of it, so they kind of took away some of the time-consuming elements, which I kind of like. And then there's
that,
like,
yeah.
there's like,
if you're smart, you should be able to shortcut some things.
yeah, they've added things like there's like Sherpas who are walking around who you can sell and buy items from, but they're randomly throughout the game. And I think they kind of place them, they randomly generate them on your path. So they've just done little things to like kind of speed it up. And like I said, my time with the game, I had a lot of fun. It was really good. And this is coming from a fan of the Far Cry series, so I'm really excited.
Far Cry
for it.
fanboy.
It's
I am. I had.
So it's,
Shut up.
I don't think we specified yet.
Is this
but-
gonna be a short
and
question,
I should
Jake?
probably know. Yes.
Okay.
Is it just 2-player co-op? You can only play with one other person.
Correct. And they didn't mention anything about deathmatch or anything. I know they've had that in the past, but I don't think anyone really buys Far Cry for the
Yeah.
deathmatch mode.
But it's not like 4 players.
Far Cry 1 had a
No.
You and one other dude.
Oh yeah, you know what? I totally forgot. Far Cry 3 did have a co-op mode, and it was 4-player co-op.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It
I
was
forgot
like
about that.
It was actually had story elements to it. You
Yeah.
were 4 other douchebags who washed up on the island.
Yeah. I remember played a little bit of that. It was okay fun.
Douchebags keep
Yeah.
washing up.
Yeah.
At any rate, speaking of
Body
douchebags,
surfing.
if you want douchebags to take all your money, go
Oh,
to
yeah.
FanDuel.com. Sorry, that's a bad plug. If you want to win a lot of money, go to FanDuel.com.
Well, no, I mean, like, if somebody takes your money on FanDuel,
Yeah.
then I have to kind of call them a douche because they're mean to me.
Well,
Oh, that's not
But
They
fair.
if
took my
take-
money. Hey, I'm good at fantasy football, I think.
But wait,
I think the advantage of FanDuel is that it gives you the ability to immediately go back next week
Yes.
and then get
Show
your
those
vengeance.
douchebags who's
Yeah,
boss.
there you go.
so I know we've talked about. We said, we put our money where our mouth was. We actually did do FanDuel.
We all
James and I are not very good at fantasy football.
No.
We're really
We're all
good at
bad.
fantasy football, but you don't get prizes for second place.
So, real
in
quick-
our particular bet that we did.
FanDuel.com is a fantasy football service where you can play week to week, so it's unlike a normal league. You're not locked in for the whole season, and you can wager and win real cash. Basically, you go to the website, you make your account, you deposit your money into your little online account, and then you make your roster every week from multiple players. And one thing we learned is that if you're in a competition with certain people, you can reuse the same players. So it's not like somebody gets snapped up and now you have to take another player you don't want. And
It's
then,
not like the drafting system. Most
yeah,
fantasy
exactly.
football leagues, you draft at the beginning of the season, and those.
Yeah,
are
and it's a
big
whole
stuff.
ordeal. So if you like fantasy football, but you're bogged down by all the logistics, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but there are a lot of logistics with actual
there really
fantasy
are.
football. If you just want to play a good round of fantasy football, maybe put $5 on it to make it a little more interesting. FanDuel is a great way to do it. You can play with 6 people or tens of thousands of people. The more people, the more money you stand to win, and then the buy-in is a little higher for that kind of thing. But yeah, it's one thing I was impressed is I've never done fantasy football before, but I went to FanDuel.com. All the stats are laid out in a very easy to read way, and I had my lineup within about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was very, very easy.
Granted, I didn't know anyone.
Oh,
I was
also-
just picking the highest ratio of like points to cost, and they even show you that kind of stuff. So
Also, to clarify, it's not just fantasy football.
Yeah.
That's the big draw, obviously, for us because we're from America. But they have a lot of different fantasy leagues.
They have
If you're
fantasy soccer?
interested-
Also,
I think they
also,
do.
You said you can play with 6 people or 10,000, but one of the cool things is that the guy who got us to play, we
Steven
played with
Gutowski?
we played with a fan. He created a private little
Lobby.
that we joined, and it was just us. So like, if you want to play with your group of people that you normally play fantasy football with, you can just set up a lobby
Yep.
and just play with them. And then he took all of our
So
money.
you don't have to lose your money to some random guy. You just
Lose it to your
your
friends.
friends,
Yeah.
exactly.
And they owe you a beer.
Yeah, yeah.
No, they owe you $5.
Also, quick pro tip: pick them based off their funny names.
Oh,
Pick players
good
based
pro-
off their funny
no,
names.
no.
Is that
not
why
at
you
all.
didn't win?
Pretty much why we didn't win.
not
James and I, we're every day I find out more ways that we're alike, and both he and I, without saying a word, we're both picking players based on how cool their name sounded,
Well, not cool
or how silly they sounded. It's like one guy was like David Gore. I'm like, yeah,
No, it's Frank,
He's gonna
Frank
go out.
Gore.
Or Frank
he's
Gore.
gonna go out and gore them.
exactly. I'm like, he's a murderer.
Turns out he didn't.
No, he didn't at all. He did really bad. I think he was benched.
I just went out there and recreated the 1993 Miami Dolphins.
Nice. Who's on that team?
Dan Marino,
And
Chris Gore.
Ray Finkel.
nice. Good job. Ray Finkel.
At any rate, we have a special code for you guys if you feel like winning or most likely losing your money. You can go to FanDuel.com,
Hey, good
and then
fun.
you have to click on the microphone in the upper right-hand corner and use the code GAMER, GAMER. And what that will do is it will enable a deposit match up to $200. So if you put in 200, FanGamer will kick in another 200. Now there are some logistics to how you actually get to that money. You have to earn it through winnings, I think. I haven't won yet, so I don't know.
We keep trying. Did you say
Yeah,
fan
it's
game or
not-
FanDuel?
FanDuel, what did I say?
I think he said fan gamer,
Oh, I'm
which is
sorry.
my new gamer tag.
That's something
by the
else,
way.
yeah.
Gamer- Well, regardless, it's not an immediate winning like you said. Like they don't just give you $200.
Yeah.
But
Something to be aware of.
again, I'm not bad at fantasy football. I've been playing for years, so I kind of knew what to do, and I was able to pick my roster. I ended up placing, I think it was a second or third.
Hey, you did pretty good.
And a couple more weeks, and I know I'd have a flow in FanDuel. And the guy that set it up for us, he's been doing it for weeks, and like he kind of knew already what to do. But I like FanDuel because, really, honestly, two people could pick the same team, which probably never happens or very rarely happens. But it doesn't matter about a draft. There is no worrying about like who's benched, who's not type thing. Like you have one day to pick your team, or like 3 days to pick your team, and then you sit down, play the week out. I really like that. It's a really really short way to do it. Whereas fantasy football takes forever to do it because I'm doing it right now.
So, FanDuel.com. Remember, click the microphone in the upper right. Use the code GAMER and get your deposit match. They say it's only for the first 50 people, but they said that every week. So, probably still good.
Yeah.
At any rate, yeah. If you watch footballs, drink a beer, make it exciting. Put
All right.
$5 on it. FanDuel.com.
Cool.
So thank you, FanDuel. Moving on, kind of as a throwback. One thing that I'm always interested in is, Bayonetta, very sexy woman. What I want to talk about with us bros, how do we
Yeah.
feel about the way men are sexually represented?
Bro talk.
Yeah. Because, thinking like Kratos is a good example, there's Snake. Like thinking about all the super broy bro dudes.
Male
That are
blood
in
elves
games.
in WoW.
No. Spool.
They all look exactly like Spool.
Male blood elves.
I mean, do we feel, and I'm going to say straight up, I'm not presenting this conversation to imply that it's in any way equal to the previous thing. This is separate. I'm not drawing those comparisons. Let's just have this conversation in a vacuum. Do we feel that sexually men have been represented appropriately in games?
It's never struck me as a problem. I mean, believe me, there are times where like when I was playing Devil May Cry and I saw Dante's abs, I'm like, fuck, I wish I had those.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm like,
He's not real.
exactly. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with looking at Vogue or Men's Health. You're like, they are Photoshop. They are airbrush. No one looks like that.
That's not true.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you sit here looking out on West
West
Hollywood,
Hollywood.
and you realize, oh wait, everyone looks like that.
Yeah, but those guys, like, they work for it.
Yeah.
I don't want to work for it. I just want to have it.
I just let it go in, have a
Yeah.
little snip, snip, a little
Well,
cut, whatever.
For me, it's not a question of appropriateness. You can portray anyone however you want to.
Sure.
Is it accurate? Absolutely not.
Well, no. of
Because
course
that would be boring.
Yeah.
It would be not exciting. It's the same reason action figures, like you can look at action figures when they were in like the 1950s. The G.I. Joes were like just like regular mannequin dudes.
Yeah, they were just regular,
right?
regular men.
But by the 80s, they were all jacked out of their minds. And that's because that's more interesting, I believe. That's just
No.
where our culture has gone. Why would we want to play as something, especially not even considering that games began as these larger than life scenarios, because that seems like more of an interesting thing to play. But like, it doesn't make sense to have a lame, boring protagonist that actually represents any of us.
Yeah.
When you can have an exciting
The Rock.
macho,
Yeah,
basically The Rock. There's
I-
a reason he's in every single movie.
I will say, though, on the flip side, it was kind of refreshing to have a character like Michael from GTA 5 who had a gut. Like, it wasn't the fattest dude in the world, but at the same time, it's like, wasn't really in great shape. Then again, the gameplay didn't really reflect that because you could fall out of a helicopter and you're fine. But it was nice seeing a character who's like kind of out of shape. Didn't
Also,
really.
his marriage is falling apart.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
And
he's
it's
just kind
like-
of an asshole and
like-
doesn't know how to not be
Like
an asshole.
just Rockstar going out of their way to build more of a relatable character, and then on the flip side being Trevor, which is like I think
Just psychopath.
that's almost like male power fantasy in a weird way. Like sometimes I wish I could just go fucking crazy and grow my hair out and do meth and it's fine.
Well, the interesting thing that is, even though Michael, I guess you could say, is more representative of a generic human male,
He's a world-class bank robber.
he's also a world-class bank robber and deals with his divorce by stealing the equivalent of Ferraris
Right.
and then taking them off giant ramps and flying through the air and then stealing a cargo plane and crashing it into an airport.
But
Like,
I feel like as a man, I think men are prone to enjoying those sorts of fantasies because they get to play them out. And like, me personally, I am not going to a movie to watch real life.
Yep.
I'm going to watch something that I cannot normally see in real life because I have plenty of real life, and I've had plenty of real life. So I'd rather see something fucking awesome. Like something that I'm like, oh man, I want to be fucking Star-Lord. Like I want to go travel the galaxy and do all that cool shit. I don't want to go sit at home and watch television and get fat.
Well, actually, like on that point, I just rewatched the whatever new James Bond trilogy or whatever, and like James Bond is what every guy.
Yeah.
I feel like is, or at least what Hollywood's telling us, is like what every guy wants to be. There's always gonna be that one guy be like, I don't want that at all. But it's like, you're telling me you don't want to wear $5,000 suits, bang hot chicks, and then just like throw them out of bed, and then drive like the world's fastest car, blow it up, shoot some dudes,
And save the fucking world.
and then call it a day. And it's
save
like
the world.
Sure, maybe there's parts of that you don't want to do, but you walk out of that movie and you're like, fuck, he was cool.
You could almost say like a lot of, I would say most guys like kind of put themselves in the shoes of the guy or whatever they're watching. Whereas like I think a lot of girls end up comparing themselves to other women, whereas guys try and like be like emanate or like be like other guys or like other superheroes or whatever they see, try and be like that.
Ladies,
on women.
would you like
But
would you
I
like
would
Spool
say-
to speak on your behalf? I think
I'm not saying.
I think he's a great ambassador.
theory
I
stuff.
just I grew up with a bunch of with sisters.
Yeah, he
and
does. He has a
moms
bunch
and
of
stuff
sisters.
like
That's
that.
why you have a
I would
soft
say
soul.
That I mean, they can definitely put themselves in shoes, but like just their kind of culture and society that they've grown up in is all like every woman or a lot of women like compare themselves to other women. Like whenever two girls like enter a room, they like immediately size each other up. Guys do that too, but it's more like I'm like you're just trying to
that's
like
gross. Stop,
you're,
stop,
then
stop.
you're just kind of like jockeying for position to be cooler. I think.
Yeah, no, we whip it out.
Yeah.
Like as soon as we're like,
Oh yeah, I always compared to.
Or like
always
show-
compared
show-
to.
Yeah, it's like the Navi from Avatar. When they touch their
yeah,
tips.
So,
and then we handshake.
You guys brought up an interesting point, is that like real life is boring. We want to get away from that. One thing that I always thought curious is why is the way to get away from that the James Bond archetype, like the typical male fantasy? There are other things about life that can have the volume turned up on them, like Silent Hill 2 or like Catherine, like
Kind of depressing.
depressing, yes,
Yeah.
but still new territory. Like Catherine deals with a lot of relationship anxiety that a lot of guys go through. but did it in a way that was overblown and still entertaining. At least I thought so.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Like a lot of games do target that. Yeah, fucking and fighting. You could do both at the same time.
Keep in mind though that Catherine did have him banging a totally hot blonde chick, who, spoiler alert, is not a human being, and also having a slightly less interesting but still extremely hot other chick on the side who desperately wanted to be with him. So it's not too far from James Bond,
Fair enough,
despite
yeah.
the fact that it's based in more real life human issues. So
That's a good point.
I want to be James Bond.
Silent Hill. Then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just Silent Hill.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
That one.
And once again, I've said this over and over and over, and this
interesting.
even goes back to Bayonetta. The common thread here is these are all Japanese games, and they're always kind of they're a
Gears.
bit more open with dealing with these kind of more subliminal like messaging of sort of like we're kind of fucking with you, or like we're trying weird stuff. Madden's not going to do that. Like you're not going to deal with the repercussions of hitting your wife in an elevator. Like they're not going to add
They
that.
should add that.
That would actually,
Actually,
be an
they
interesting.
did. They took him out of the game.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the way they dealt with it was they just ignored it.
Yeah.
They're like, let's rewrite
Redacted.
history and just take him out.
Under the road.
well, remember we saw the clips from the new NBA 2K game, and there's like scenes where your character is watching the draft
Yeah.
and arguing with his agent. Like that's now.
That's a thing.
I don't think you actually control any aspect
no,
of the
it's just
game, but you
happening.
watch it, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy.
But it is about more putting you, the player, in this celebrity's role.
And this goes all the way back to what we said in the very beginning is what I love about the gaming ecosystem right now is there are so many choices for people. So if you want a game where you're a football manager, it exists. You can play it. If you want a beach volleyball game starring buxom women that you can play with one hand, that exists.
I do want that.
That is a thing.
I'd like that.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not really into that. That's not fun for me.
What if I told you that there are mini games where they like have to knock each other off platforms into a pool using their butts?
I'm back in. Let's do this.
Feed each other fruit delicately.
I love wet surfaces. What?
All right,
say
well,
wet.
Yeah,
I love
on the
wet.
Adams thing saying because there's so many options now, like it's not like there's only 3 game companies that only make 2 games a year that you
Yeah.
don't have really a choice to choose from all these different games.
That's
You
all there is.
have
It's
other
Call of
options.
Duty and Far Cry.
You have so many options. Like
Right.
to focus on one and get mad at it is like just move on.
Yeah,
Go on to the
yeah.
next
It is
thing.
weird how people complain like, I can't believe games are going in this direction. And I'm like, what direction?
Yeah.
It's going all over the place.
It's
It's, a sphere.
Yeah, it's the same people who are like, early access is crap, but I'm like, no, it's just a new avenue. It's a new thing. I like that we have all these different options, and some people are like, that sucks. Like, well, yeah, but
can wait for
ideally
it.
it's going to get better. I mean, I'd really hate if gaming just got worse. I don't know.
Well, it's been like 6 months. Like now you can if you have a digital day one release game, you can download it beforehand. How long ago was it that you had to download on the day of the release, and that would take the whole thing? Like they've already fixed that. And then it was probably like 2 years ago where it would take months for a digital version of a game to come out when the physical version of the game was coming out. Like
I still remember waiting in line for games. Like,
people are, but I'm just
weird.
saying the industry is figuring things out really, really fast, and I think it's because it's throwing a ton of shit at the wall.
Yeah.
That's true. No,
They're figuring out what works.
I've said that time and time again that the gaming industry is more experimental than almost any other industry, and that's probably because there's not unions involved and a lot of other things, and they can get away with a lot more kind of crazy stuff. But like, I think the gaming industry always tries new, innovative things first.
So it's bisexual. That's
Fanboy.
what he's saying. It's experimental.
I'm a fanboy of what?
He's a fanboy. You're a gamer
bisexual-
fanboy.
Bisexual fanboy.
Don't let your
Bisexual
gamer
gamer
fanboy
fanboy.
shit get
Game
thrown at the
fan.
wall.
All right, we should move on to the community section.
All
We're
right,
underwear. No, we gotta. There's another ad read.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. We're being sponsored by Me Underwears.
MeUndies.
Me Undies.
Do you know what I have on for me undies right now?
What do you have on?
Me undies.
Do you really?
Nice.
Yep. Are you really wearing them?
Show me.
I'm not.
I
had to wash 'em.
Didn't realize I did wash mine this weekend,
Oh.
but then I realized about halfway through today that we would be recording this.
Nice.
It's just black. That's all they
It's
are.
a black
There's a
roller.
purple.
I
there's a
like the
purple
material.
rim.
The
Ew,
material's
ew,
nice.
ew.
Yeah, and the purple line.
Stop
There's a
it.
purple.
It's a
a
pure.
hint of
It's
color.
a pure black.
I have
One
the
does
same.
want a hint of color.
Ladies, if you'd like to tell us how we're exploiting James for the sake of Me Undies, let us know in the comments.
No, he likes that. He wants to be exploited.
No, we decided that he's
Yeah, I
not
told
allowed
you
to
he
be
wants to be
exhibitionist.
exploited.
That's why he works out every day, so they appreciate
So
it.
that people can touch his butt.
At any rate, Me Undies is made of fantastic, sheer, stretchy, breathable fabric that keeps all your stuff where it needs to be.
Junk.
and lets it breathe.
Your junk.
I like it.
My penis is like.
We call it our miracle. Ladies and gentlemen, treat your miracle correctly.
Miracle. There's a lot of weird sweaty miracles.
I think that's what they call it in 50 Shades of Grey.
Gross.
Man, they should sponsor that. At any rate, we have another custom URL. So if you go to meundies.com/inside, you get 20% off your first order. That's shipping to US and Canada. Let's be honest here. Gamers are not the most couture group. Gentlemen out there,
You're generalizing. Come
You're-
on.
Come on.
your
How dare
elastic
you.
band is
I'm
probably
gonna
not
side with
holding
Lawrence
stuff
on
up.
this one.
We
Okay.
didn't say he was wrong. We just said he's general.
Treat yourself right. I mean, it's fascinating to me, and this is again more commentary on gamer culture, I guess. And this doesn't mean you personally, listener, but it's fascinating to me the things gamers will spend money on and the things they won't spend money on. And you spend more time with your underwear than you do with a video game. If you're gonna spend $60 on a video game,
Debatable.
you can.
He games naked.
This fool gets home, takes off his pants, rips off his pairs of underwear, and he doesn't put on another pair for 6 days.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, it may seem a little too grandiose to spend money on underwear, but trust me, once you feel it, you probably won't go back.
Your miracle will thank you.
Yes, it'll thank you all day.
James, can I try those when you're done with them?
Yep. You can try them right now
Yeah,
if you want.
that-
Oh, please
Alright,
don't.
well,
No,
wait,
not
after
now.
the-
Let's keep it PG.
At any rate, that's
13.
meundies.com/inside INSIDE. 20% off your first order. We're fans here. Our stuff is fans too.
We're fancy. We're
Our
fancy.
miracles.
Our
When it
miracles,
gets
yeah.
really quiet, I can kind of hear Beethoven's Fifth
Yeah.
wafting up from my crotch.
Yeah.
Any day.
Smell it too.
I just smell farts.
And once again, just to be totally clear, we usually I would say at this point 100% try everything that we we advertise on this show. James is wearing it. I love the days when Lawrence comes to my desk and goes, "Here's some underwear. Try them on." It makes me realize that we have really cool and weird jobs.
Our lives are very charmed.
It's very strange, especially when I try them on in front of Lawrence, and
That is weird.
he kind of
Very
puts his
strange, yeah.
puts his hand on his chin, and he goes, "I like that."
I like.
Yeah, when Lawrence walked in with the underwear, they all just dropped their pants and put them on like right there.
It makes panties drop.
Wait,
Well,
what?
those
What?
panties
I mean,
that you're wearing.
The old ones, and then I tried on the
Makes
new ones, and they
nail panties drop.
meundies.com/inside. 20% off shipping to US and Canada. Let's look at some fan art.
All right.
Let's do it.
Scroll down.
Fan art. Yep.
Boom.
What's going on
So
here?
Ray Goodwin.
Oh.
You can't see any.
Oh,
She's living that
no.
kind of life.
She didn't get a
Adam, drag it
tattoo.
over.
I'm doing it right now.
I don't think it's real.
That can't be a real tattoo.
I mean,
I
it's
hope
probably like
not.
henna or something.
Oh
but-
boy, I really hope not. It's tattooed cunt on her. Oh boy.
Thanks
As long
for
as she has both of her
supporting.
hands together, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
If she
oh.
doesn't, then it makes.
Well, I didn't see this.
Joe
one.
Sullivan
awesome.
drew a really interesting collage.
Look at my face.
Look at Bruce's
Look at my
poof.
beautiful face.
Poof fire.
Doesn't look like that at all. It should be bandages all over it.
You look so innocent, Bruce.
What,
I
what am I doing?
Pursed
Am I,
lips.
I think you're
You're
gaming.
sitting in a chair.
I'm
holding
meditating.
and controller.
and James looks like an insane Ken doll.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think Joel's trying to like take me to. Am I a puppet? I'm
he just figured it out.
a puppet.
You're like drooling and you got a little weed leaf on your
What do
chin.
you think it said before it said rehab?
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
Oh
point.
yeah.
Because it got whiteout on there.
Yeah.
Fuck spool.
I know.
Hey, Bruce is kind of wearing like an orderly shirt. Is he like?
It looks like I might be in jail or
Are you the
something.
receptionist for the rehab clinic that
maybe,
Spool's
who
checking
knows?
in?
And then and Joel kind of looks like Speed Racer. I like it.
And then Kai Senpapi
Oh
Pete.
my god.
Whoa! I
Oh
haven't
my
seen this either. This is awesome.
I like the machinima branded toilet.
Oh my gosh.
We need to sell that.
He even got my fucked up jaw. Oh, that's great. Look at that.
Oh man.
You can see a little pube action going right there.
Holy
drawing that
shit.
toilet.
That is
Not
awesome.
a little, a lot.
Why am I
like
so
cactus.
angry?
Why is all your hair so
I can hear the
prickly?
porcelain cracking.
Yeah.
Oof.
Whoa.
James, no nipple. Drew this one.
This is cool.
I have not seen any of this
Yeah.
stuff. This is
Yeah.
do,
right.
do they just tweet these to
At
Inside,
Inside
Gaming?
Gaming?
It's
follow
Guys,
it.
tweet it to us.
Yeah, we wanna see
We're
it.
in it. Tweet it to us.
yeah.
the detail in this is nice. I like the butt on the billboard. Very fitting for West Hollywood, but also
yeah.
from Patriot. I believe.
Oh, that's right.
Good call.
There's a lot of elements.
Rambo.
Looks like Rambo, yeah.
Yeah.
Need for Speed, the Inside Gaming movie poster.
Yeah.
a lot of Stay Puft Marshmallow
Mackie
Man back
Moose
there.
is back there.
Yeah.
Who's the guy in the pink shirt?
That's Spool.
Spool.
Smoking weed.
He looks so cool.
You know what it kind
Yeah.
of looks like? It looks like
Not
they
lifelike.
Google mapped the office because it has some weird architecture that our office also
Oh,
has.
hey.
Yeah, you're right.
Good eye. And then Lawrence looks like Steve Jobs.
And then
Nice.
Joel's just like hanging out down below.
Yeah,
Childish Flamingo drew insert Gurman.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Birdman.
Birdman and the Hooligans.
Wait, Drew?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Photoshop.
Created.
So this one's valuable just for spool.
So yeah, Spool is
Way
the
down
best
there.
in this.
Well, there's some value to Lawrence as the penguin.
Oh yeah.
Or the penguin. The penguin.
Penguin.
Panger. The Rodler.
Bruce is the
rocking
choker.
Adam is the. Jeez.
Kurt Wallman.
Bortman. Adam is Bortman.
In case you forgot who I was, look at my face!
Who is that man? This is cool. I think where this is
Taz
going.
in for the action did a 5-up of all of us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I only saw mine. I didn't see you guys.
Nice.
Cool.
The ones
like
that
that.
are like hand drawn on paper always impress me the most because I know that person has so much more art skills than I do.
Yes.
There's no going back with
There,
a pen.
he absolutely is more skilled than you.
We almost kind of look like Pixar characters, which I dig.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh, they should make a Pixar movie about
Oh,
it.
yeah, we should pitch that to them.
No,
Dude,
they
we should. So does anyone know? Hold on, I'll call Pixar.
Let's call it the cunt life.
Yeah.
Why'd you hang up so fast?
Pixar.
Oh, this
my
is
God,
so
yes.
cool.
This one's
That Wonky
amazing.
Monster is
Yes.
amazing.
This
You
is
know-
so good.
It makes me excited because he said that he was doing coloring.
Yeah, no, yeah,
for
it's
it.
on the way.
And if you go to this guy's Deviant Art, it's labeled part 1.
Yep, it's on the way.
Oh.
Indicates
It's on
that
the
there
way.
are more parts on the way.
And Spool's my sidekick. Is that what's going on there?
Is that Spool?
Yeah,
That's a little weed leaf
Oh,
in a
yeah,
hat.
Little Wheatley.
Yeah.
This guy also
Um,
does really cool comic book art,
What-
and we should have him make a limited edition
Inside
comic
Gaming
book
comic
for us.
book.
Just one. How did this start? That I am a furry character.
We don't know, man. We already told you that. We already
I-
told you.
it's- It's
Yeah,
fine,
right.
but where was the secret meeting that took place? Where said, "Okay, Adam will be
We told you we
Pikachu
don't
and
know.
Totoro."
I don't know where it started.
Could you look into the webcam and tell people to stop drawing you as Totoro?
Guys, please stop drawing me as cute, fuzzy creatures such as Totoro, Pikachu, grizzly bears.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
What else is out there?
Popples.
Badgers.
Popples.
Any
Tribbles.
Paddington bear,
Good.
gay bears, you know, those sort of
Pedo
things. Pedo bears?
Pedo
Care
Bear's
Bears?
good.
Actually, draw me as
Care
Pedo bear.
Bears,
That'd be
yeah.
great.
Oh, they could do all of us as Care Bears.
And then this Pokemon train's gonna be rolling for a while.
This one's so good.
As
Okay,
for Kippy, she
this
always-
is
amazing.
this is one of the few faces I've ever made that I laugh at every time.
Hello.
Ipkippy tweeted this to me, and I couldn't stop laughing.
That's so
It was
great.
just, God damn it.
So great. So good.
And then
All right.
Floron Strikes Again did us all as Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Why is this a thing?
Wait, who am I?
So
Yeah.
he started with Adam. He actually posted this, I think, Wednesday, which was the day after we recorded the last podcast, where
That's
Adam
right.
said that exact thing.
You're
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, yeah.
You are correct.
Yeah.
And he hadn't heard it yet. So
Yeah.
just like sight unseen, he knew how Adam would react.
It plays out perfectly, and then just James being like, God damn it,
Maybe,
why?
maybe he's got some kind of recording device.
All right, Adam. Do you
No,
know
he
all of the
doesn't.
Pokemon featured here?
Okay, Pikachu, Meowth, I guess
Blastoise?
Blastoise. Yeah, that's some fucking fish. Goldinger,
Is it Goldinger?
Goldeen.
Goldeen.
Goldie.
Come on.
Yeah, and then that's Charizard.
Sir Larzard.
Yeah,
That's
not.
that's
Oh wait,
Lawrence
hold
has
on.
the best one.
It starts out as Charmander, that's right, and then the final form
Charmeleon.
is Charmeleon, and then Charizard. I used to watch the cartoon. I never actually played the game, so I know enough. The idea of the evolution always kind of got to me. I was like, yeah, cool. Like, what's Pikachu's final form? Like, I'm.
Turns out it's Raichu and it sucks.
It's pretty. Well, that's why Pikachu chose just like, you know what? I'm not going to touch the crystal. I'm just going to be Pikachu.
Yeah.
So I respect him
I
for
like
that.
that.
Yeah,
I like
that was
They're
a good
getting smaller
episode.
Pikachu afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's true. Oh yeah, that was Pokemon Yellow edition.
Oh my gosh, who cares?
All right. And then Troutism on Reddit, slightly animated.
Yes.
2 of our Pokemon.
Joel
I'm
Dean.
shaking.
Wow.
I'm
It's a little
shaking.
vibrating. I like caffeine. That's my
And
favorite.
it's a Zanku on my stomach.
I like how the technical animation of it is just shaking in
Yeah, I know.
place. It's the squiggle vision from home movies.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Kitty 3 feet.
Yep,
Gave
sure.
us another Pekovic.
Look at those rosy cheeks.
Oh man, I just imagine at my funeral, all you guys would be like, and he loved Pokemon.
Oh,
Like,
we won't be there.
oh, holy shit.
Lucky Baltazar is drawing you guys as Arthurian knights.
Cool.
I'll take it. Or we work at medieval times.
Wait, which?
Y'all keep.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to fight over your realm here, because you both appear to be kings.
The black and white knight's the best. Also, we don't have forks. But drink all the Diet Pepsi you want.
So cool.
Pretty sure this is a part of a series, and he may have already finished it. It might have gotten lost in the shuffle, but I found these two, so good job. Thank you.
I haven't seen any.
You bet.
Darviak drew this insanity.
Bruce's feet.
I'm like the
Oh,
I'm like the
God.
Exorcist.
I just realized what he's doing.
Yeah, he's fucking the jet hole.
I'm absolutely getting blown by the jet in the jacuzzi.
But your feet are.
Yeah, I know. So I can't really reenact it.
Hold on.
Like this.
Okay.
Yeah, they're up. They're up
there.
Okay.
And then you're snaking it
Oh,
back.
dear.
And you're in. And then you're in.
Okay,
there.
Okay. Oh,
There
dear
you go.
God.
I gotcha.
And I'm like this.
Like that. Yeah. Oh, man.
Good stuff.
You got a weird spine. Also, look at Adam's nipples.
Oh, oh, whoa! Wait, are they pierced or just going in different
No,
directions?
they're really large.
They're erect.
And then
they're
what's covering my crotch? Is that
That's the picture of you standing there.
perfect?
I didn't realize that at all. That's
And
great.
Lawrence has got the blue screen of death, but his
Yeah.
face is still there.
Well, I'm shorting out because the water is spilling out of the tub.
Hey,
What does James's package say? And I don't mean that.
Comes with 6 extra pairs of interchangeable nipples.
Nice.
Ooh, lots
That's
of
awesome.
nipples.
yeah, I got some if you need them.
And of course, Joel the Pimp.
Yep,
Yeah,
sure.
Joel's a pip.
course, Joel's-
Spool is a giant weed joint.
I thought he was a
Joint baby.
Yeah, it looks like a
Yeah.
weed baby.
Yeah.
You were all swaddled up in your rolling paper.
Does he have a mustache? I can't. Oh,
It doesn't matter.
it's weird. I love
And
it.
then we
Oh,
got
yeah.
PC Gaming
Oh,
Part
man.
3 from
best
the
one.
10s.
Man.
This is amazing.
These are insane. You're probably going to want to click through to DeviantArt to see the whole thing, because the detail on this is just absurd.
Yeah.
They always are. This is the third one, right?
Yes.
This is someone who has watched everything we have ever done.
Yep.
That includes our Twitter feeds,
Yeah.
anything we have said in like silence,
It's
or
crazy.
in things we have said in confidence.
Yeah.
Winks that we've shared.
Yeah.
My favorite part of this is, so the spool weed thing is always funny. But in this one, he's got such a big joint, he has to hold it with 2 hands.
And the pose Bruce is making is just the best.
I'm really interested to see why
This
I'm
is
making
like-
that pose, but
It's like a Where's Waldo, where like you could pick out one
Yeah.
thing and try and find it in there, and you'll probably
Yeah.
find it. if you
I think
look
he's
long
making
enough.
that pose because he's farting on me.
Oh, we thought it was you couldn't deal with the war.
I mean, that's also likely.
no, it's just my farts.
yeah.
Joel in his fancy pants.
He is really fancy there. That's beautiful.
God damn it, so
There's
amazing.
just so much good happening here.
it really
What's
is.
interesting is there's kind of a loose narrative that started to fall into place after
Yeah.
looking at these 3. Like, apparently it's the armies of, what, like...
A tunt.
Yeah, it's Tunt's presidential forces
Yeah.
battling our rebellion.
And we won. Like we took him down.
Oh yeah, we won with the IG
Yeah,
flag.
because
You're
he's
right.
leaving. Because if you notice, he's in the limousine that's leaving.
All I can do is stare at my face.
Wait.
Look at my face.
Oh.
Yeah. See, we're beaten.
That's
Well,
cunt.
That's cunt, but
That's cunt,
the
yeah.
limousine up above
sky?
in the sky.
Oh shit. Wait, he's in there?
According to the artist, he is.
Oh, gotcha. But yeah, it does tell a narrative the fact that like the poster is ripped and upside down and like Thruster Man stands,
Victorious?
Yeah,
as
we're
a
not-
champion of the day.
he can only stay right there.
Anyway, god damn it.
Nice. So good.
Fucking
And then,
amazing. I look at this for hours.
Matt Shayer did 2 Inside Gaming animated videos,
Oh boy.
Oh.
which both are slightly horrific. That's how I would
Only
describe them.
slightly. That's
Oh, these. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Just the mouth animations. I don't know if I can hang with it. It's
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a
they're
little.
Played
disturbing.
Surgeon Simulator.
Yes, this is actually kind of funny because people often forget that we played Surgeon Simulator a long time ago. Not to be like, we're doing what all the cool YouTubers are doing. We just got the trailer and we're like, this game looks retarded. Let's play it.
There's pre and post Blade. And,
Yeah.
and this is pre-Blade,
that pre-Blade?
I think.
Pre-Blade, yeah.
Oh, he beat.
Thanks, Spool.
The Batkovic one, if possible,
The animation is horrific and it scares me.
is
love it.
even more insane because it's got like some weird 3D stuff going on.
Bat. Cool.
I'm on Batkovic now.
It actually looks like a nightmare. It looks like a nightmare I might have.
I get that a lot from people.
He's like, thank you. Oh my god. Yeah, it does. That's scary.
Those arms.
Ugh.
oh, Jesus.
This really does seem
God.
like something that would come on Adult Swim at like 2:30 a.m. to
Yeah.
freak out all
Yeah.
the people who are really high.
Yeah. It's very scary.
That said,
flying
World,
car.
what the hell?
This is all over the
I haven't
place.
seen this.
that said, this is actually like really cool. There's a lot of originality here, and that's what I love. Just people that just uncork their brains and then it flies out onto the internet.
Wow, that's really crazy.
Why are those cars having sex? All right.
Love it. I love it.
Deeply disturbing.
That's excellent.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, fans. Another amazing week of fan art. Again, like, apologies. We cannot. It's getting to the point where we can't catch it all.
Like Pokemon.
Yeah.
You could beat me to it. Damn it.
Ferrari spools that fast.
Shit.
But you can catch delicious treats from Nature Box.
Oh!
It's actually pretty easy. It's free. Go to naturebox.com/inside to get a free sampler pack of their 5 most popular treats.
Like the jackbacks.
Yeah.
Ooh, those are real
Those are
good.
real good.
I like how they crunch in your throat.
You want to watch out for the Bamble Joms, though. They'll tear the roof of your mouth out.
Ooh,
Dirty
they
Monkey
will.
Moo-Moos?
Oh, those
None
are
of these
good.
are real.
Dirty Monkey Moo-Moos are
I don't know.
really
Are they spooled?
solid.
I don't.
Are they?
Those are solid.
Go to the website and find out.
Anyway, Nature
Questionable
Box
hot
asks you to
chips.
stay full, stay
Questionable.
strong, and snack smarter. Go to naturebox.com/inside. That's INSIDE. Get your free box, and if you like that, do subscribe. Thank you, Nature Box, for supporting our podcast. Now, man, so I thought we could get to finger space.
Nope.
We're actually over.
No,
time
actually,
already.
before we get there, I do have an important thing touching on what you were saying earlier, because like we had to skip like user submitted comments
Yeah.
at this point. We have been throwing the idea around here of possibly doing a second podcast if we get time, where we do just do like a straight Q&A. So if you are interested in that, please let us know. No promises right now. We are very busy. But there are actually a few changes coming up where we will be less busy. So that's good. And we'll have more time to do more interesting things and more content hopefully soon. So if you do want a second podcast, let us know where the way you described it, James, was we just answer the questions,
There's
right?
so many
Yeah,
questions.
there's like 400 questions.
Digging through there
Yeah.
trying to find questions is it's too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the Q&A, the show itself used to be, we get a good 10 questions every week. We get too much now, and we don't want to leave any soldier behind,
Yeah.
so to speak. And so we want to answer all your stuff, and we need more than a 10-minute video to do that. So
Yeah.
To be clear, you would keep doing
This
the
one,
other
too.
Q&A.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah,
We'd
you-
keep doing everything.
Yeah,
Well,
you do all the videos.
what we're really kind of interested in doing is putting more long-form content on the channel while keeping
Yeah.
the shorter, concise stuff because we enjoy making that and watching it. So, let us know if you're interested in that in a second sort of
I do.
podcast.
And then
No.
finally, parting question to the community,
Uh-huh.
kind of in lines of this: whether you are man, woman, or other, how do you feel about how your particular gender has been represented in games when it comes to sex? Is there something you would like to see? Is there something you haven't seen yet? Or are you pretty satisfied with the way things are?
There's a male chicken at his keyboard right now going,
Dave Matthews.
IGN sucks.
Ooh, yeah, male. A cock is a male
wow.
chicken.
We did
Need
it.
more cocks in video games.
I get it. Ubisoft is trying to be equal, and I actually can kind of appreciate that. I'm gonna get a lot of shit for that in the comments, but I like that they're trying to give everybody the same experience.
First of all, in positive news, Twitch posted a little blog thingy saying that they are pushing for complete transparency in regards to their own campaigns.
started becoming YouTubers, the pretty much the unspoken rule of professionalism kind of went out the window, and there you started getting a lot younger kids who didn't really understand the word NDA or any of that sort of stuff. And I remember, I forget exactly who it was.
But these are so sheer
Yeah.
and so aerodynamic.
Yeah.
They're not things I have to worry about.